Welcome back to part two. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how school is taking a toll in our mental health. Let's go.
So I'm like, okay, Linda, stay here to network. Like, don't go upstairs. Don't go into the room to take a nap. Like, use this opportunity to make connections and network. I was so nervous because I was just nervous to network. Because again,
Scary.
it's scary. I didn't know what to say, and I've been in
Yeah.
a. I didn't know what to say, and again at the Saturday event, the Saturday event where I made is when I made the comparison, um, the thief of my joy, basically. So I
Yeah.
still forced myself to network. I was talking to the dean of nursing from our university. I was talking to some professors from my university. I was there taking a photo, just smiling away, looking uncomfortable. In my head, I was uncomfortable. Um, but that was all hard, but I'm happy that I pushed myself to do it. Because
Me
again,
too.
I met a lot of people. And another reason why, to go back on just me being in like a crappy mood lately, is that um I, in a sense that it was hard for me to talk about myself because again, I'm in a crappy mood, so I don't have anything positive to say. Like I have a lot of positive to say, but in the same breath, it's like I'm over school. So everybody was talking so positively about being a nurse, being like a doctor in nursing, being whatever they're doing in the community. And I'm sitting there like, damn, I'm literally just trying to make it out of school. So I didn't have
Yeah.
anything to positive to say about like my journey in a sense because I'm
Yeah.
just trying to make it out. And that, and in my head, I'm like, dang, do I lie? Because I'm literally just fighting for my life. I don't have anything positive to say. I'm over school. I can't wait to be done. I've been depressed in this dang program for 2 years. I love that, I'm following my dreams, but in the same breath, I'm exhausted. And so because I'm
Yeah.
exhausted, it was hard for me to speak passionately about nursing. And I know that sounds depressing,
Yeah.
but that's the state I have been in.
Do you think that
It's
like
a
work
reality.
actually like work do you think that working as a RN and like actually working with patients and getting reinvigorated by why you wanted to, do this is going to help you? Because I feel like that's going to make a big difference in like your mood.
So I'm hoping that'll make a big difference in my mood. I want to say at least in a confidence area or building that confidence area, it will be. But I feel that I'm in this state of mind because I am in school. I'm mentally exhausted from being in school, so that's the reason why I feel that I have this mindset. So I'm hoping once I graduate, um, I because I will have more time for myself. Though I'm planning to
Girl.
do a residency program, it's still like I'm not studying for exams and everything, and plus going to the clinic. So I'm hoping and praying that that all will change once I, yes, start working as an RN for the experience, and then when I'm done with school.
And I also think it's like a different environment because like when you're in school, you're staring at a laptop, you're staring at a book, you're staring like at you're by yourself, you're studying, you're not really like engaging in conversation with people as much. Because like I can relate to you, even though I've only been in medical school for a tiny, tiny time. Um, it's hard because I'm not talking to people, I'm not going out, I'm not like socializing as much as I used to be. Like when I was working as an EMT, I was talking to patients every 15 minutes. I met a new person every 15 minutes. I had a partner I was talking to. I was talking to nursing, like, getting patient reports and, asking people how their day was. But like when you're in school, you're pretty much just staring at a book or staring at a computer. And I think that also does take a big toll on your mental health. So,
Yes, and my mental health has definitely been affected. Because even I know my mental health has been shitty, very shitty lately, and I feel it. Oh my gosh.
how are all our episodes about mental health?
Because of school, dude.
Hey, this
School
is
and
what
life.
school does to you, especially like healthcare related freaking school where you have to worry about other
No,
people and
no,
plus trying to
no, it's
keep yourself
completely true.
sane.
No, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
true because like I told you, I've only been in school for so little time. Like, I think I've only been in school for 2 months, and my mental health has declined dramatically as well. Um, I cry a lot now. I hadn't cried before this. I wasn't crying, and I cry all the time now. And it's hard, but we have to take each day. I'm seeing you crying. You're making me cry.
I
Yeah,
know, and
and
I'm
then
like, oh my gosh.
it
Yeah,
was
go
like
Kathy, so
a
I can.
video that a video that I watched in, I don't remember, I think Jasmine, you sent it, but it was a video
That's actually what
basically
I was going to talk
of
about.
yeah,
That's what I was going to talk
like
about. Sorry. That's exactly what I was going to talk about. If you don't mind, if I could continue that really
go.
quick. But I sent that to you guys because, like I told you, my mental health has declined really bad lately. And I felt like, who was, I said this to Jonathan the other day. I was like, who was I thinking going to medical school? And he was like, you better stop that right now. He's like, you better stop that right now. And I remember scrolling on TikTok, and I saw this video, and it said the healthcare field has an amazing, amazing ability to make you feel like you're, excuse my language, shit. Like you're nothing. Like you're not capable of doing things because the standards that are set are so high, and they expect so much of you, and they expect you to really be not a human, that it makes you gaslight yourself. It makes you gaslight yourself
Yeah,
because there's like I sent it to you, Kathy, because you're a mother. It talked about mothers in healthcare. It talked about people volunteering and doing like unpaid clinical hours and being in school and like basically everything that we're doing.
yeah.
And we all feel like our mental health is declining, but we're doing so much, but yet we are also feeling like we're not doing enough. And so that's why I sent that to you guys, because I felt like validated, and it made me realize like I am doing more than enough, and I'm doing my best, and I can only do my best, I'm patting myself on the back right here.
But
But
I
yeah.
feel like sometimes it's so hard. Like I don't know if it's a me thing or I don't know. Like sometimes, like you're in the deep, like your mental health is trash, and you just keep going, and you're digging
Yeah.
yourself more into it
Mhm.
and into it and into it, into like for me, I'm more like blocking. Like I block a lot. I know I don't feel good. I know I'm sad. I know I want to cry. I know this, but you come and ask me and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." Like, because I'm used, and then it's horrible. Like it's horrible, and because I've done it for so many years, it's hard for me to like tell you guys, you know what, guys, I feel like crap. I don't like
I
this.
know.
My mental health is doing horrible. But because I am so used to like, like, okay, just push it through, push it down, push it down, push it down, push it down, and now I don't see it. Like, and I saw that this past month when I was, taking care of Tiago, and it was really hard for me. And this is really out of the topic, but just like because we were talking about mental health, like all those months I was putting it off and putting it off, into like, I think it just got to the top where you guys called me on it. You guys were like, "Wait,
Yeah.
are you okay?" And then I was like, "Actually," and then even then, I don't even like. It's not. I wouldn't tell that to anybody. Like if I would be at my job and they'll be like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." But because I am, close and comfortable with you guys, and being vulnerable with you guys, and I guess all the listeners, then I kind of like feel like, this is kind of like a safest space, and say, "No, I'm not okay. Like,
Yeah.
I do not want to
And
record
I'm
today,
glad you
or
did
this is
that.
happening."
I- I'm glad you did that because um I think it just like makes, like, for example, the other day I was at school, right? And someone asked me how I was doing, and it's easy to say I'm okay. And I was like, I'm not doing okay. I straight up said I'm not doing okay. And the person heard me say that, and they weren't expecting that. They were expecting me to say, I'm good, because that's what everybody says, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, I'm not okay. And I just said, I'm not okay. I said, I'm not okay. Like, I said, I'm drowning. I am drowning. I am struggling. And they were like, oh, and they had just told me they were doing okay. But then later when I talked to them, I think because I said I wasn't okay, they felt okay with telling me how bad they were doing. And I think that you being vulnerable, Kathy, is going to allow other people to be vulnerable with you that are also like holding that in. I just think it
Hmm.
allows you to be open and vulnerable with each other.
Yes, and to add on to everything that you guys are saying, because it's true, to add on about the comment of like, oh, we just have to keep going. And honestly, because when we're in grad school, we don't have any other choice but to keep going. It's like we
Yeah.
have all these other outside factors that, we have life outside of school, but these universities a lot of the time they expect us to give, in a sense, 100% of ourselves. They preach, oh, you guys have to have a good balance of self-care, but it's like, where does that
When?
self-care, yeah, when? I do feel like I've gotten better with the self-care, but again, because I feel like I'm just over it. Let me make sure I pass my classes and get out of clinical. But we have no choice but to keep going.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I know this episode turned into like
Mental health.
so it went away from networking to mental health. But hey, this can be part two about mental health
Hmm.
again. Um,
Hmm.
but it's so draining. And again, listeners, I feel like that's another reason why it's been so hard for us to even record weekly for the podcast, because in addition to schooling and studying and the stresses of school, we also have to put a lot of time into the podcast, and it is draining. And the mental state that I'm in personally at this point, I'm speaking for myself, it's like, dang, I have to record, like I'm tired, I just want to break. But again, I want this podcast to become very successful, so I have to put in the work as if it's a job. And then to go back on my mental health, and the comments that Kathy was saying that, she's able now to say that, hey, no, I'm not okay. And Jasmine telling someone like, I'm not doing okay. I forgot the exact words you said, but for me, I've been so in the dumps and low mood, in a sense, like I don't even have the energy to,
Hmm.
oh
To
my
say
gosh,
you're not okay.
I don't have the
Yeah.
Yeah.
energy to even say like I have not been okay and I'm not okay, because I don't have the energy to explain like what I'm
Right.
going through. I'd rather
Right.
say, oh my gosh,
That you're okay
I
because it's just easier to just cap it there. I
Yeah,
yeah,
understand.
and then we
exactly.
I
noticed,
understand.
remember, Jess? We have that conversation between you and
Yeah.
I. I was like,
Yeah.
something's wrong, but I don't know, and she's not saying it, so I'm not gonna push it because, sometimes you're like, like sometimes people are like, back off, dude. And then it is
Yeah,
true.
but
Like we were able
yeah.
to tell, but we also understand, and I
And
don't want to like push.
push. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's really why it's important to like have a circle of friends that you feel comfortable with and to just check on your people who are in these accelerated tough programs because it's hard out here. It's really hard out here and sometimes we ourselves forget we're human and we feel like we have to keep going and we have to keep just working because we can't stop. So sometimes we need someone to check on us and just ask us if we're okay and really, you know, just pay attention to your friends and see if they're okay because it is hard.
Yeah. And to like kind of make it funny, um, so Ellie,
Oh
y'all
Lord.
y'all should know Ellie. If you know me, you know Ellie. So Ellie, who's like a really really close friend of mine, we usually like do everything together because she's like, we're two peas in a pod. She's like, I talk about how annoying she is, but again, we're two peas in a pod. But anyways, she had called me out on it. It's like about just like how my mood has changed a lot since I've been in the program. Because we had a
Mhm.
conversation last week sometime, and she was saying something, and I responded, and then I'm not gonna say the exact conversation, but she said, "Are you okay? You sound mad." She's like, "I didn't mean to offend you." I was like, "No, I'm joking. Like I'm not." I was like, "I'm not being
Oh,
serious right now, and I'm joking." She said that it's gotten to the point that she doesn't know when I'm joking and when I'm being serious. Like she said, and I'm like, "Oh, it's." It's like, it's just dark humor. She was like, girl, she was like, friend, I don't know, because now it's getting a little bit too hard to tell if you joking or being serious. I was like, girl, I'm joking. And I was joking, but for
Mm-hmm.
her, it's like, it was like too flat of a joke, flat effect of a joke, I'm assuming.
Right.
Um, she was like, I think it's because of school. I was like, yeah, I know it's because of school. And school and plus my other life stressors. You know, if I
Yeah.
had just to deal with like my life and not school, it's like, okay, I can put the energy toward like my life stressors, but it's like I have my personal life and plus school, it's a lot. And it's like I don't have, and because of those two things, it's like I don't have the energy to deal with other people's um life problems as well. It's like I want to
Yeah.
be there for like my
Yeah.
friends and everything, but I don't have that. I just don't have that in me.
Capacity.
The capacity.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
don't have it.
it's literally like they say on the airplane for the parents, you put your mask on first so that you can help them. It's true. It's very true. If you're not okay, you can't help them. So
Hmm.
take care of yourself, Linda, and we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But
I'm in therapy, so I don't want people listening to be like concerned in
no.
a sense.
Mhm.
Just like in general, but because I know I'm saying like I'm not talking to my friends about it. Because I'm just trying to make it through. It's like I'm just trying to get, check every box as I go, and I don't have the energy to talk about things. But I'm in therapy, and I have been talking to my therapist, so that helps a
And I'm
lot.
actually really proud of you for that because I know going to
Mhm.
therapy and being vulnerable with like a stranger in a sense is really hard.
Hmm.
And you've been doing it for a while and you've been really consistent. And I'm
Hmm.
really proud of you for that because it's not easy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So
And
keep
this
doing that.
Yeah, thank you. And this podcast is like therapy. Because I had mentioned to my therapist, we have a podcast. She was like, you have a podcast and you don't like sharing your life? And then she was like, that's a form of therapy as well. I was like, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I really like it. I know you guys always make fun of us being a potent dose of three crybabies, but at the end of the day, you don't think we talk about things that everyday students or everyday like no everyday students go through, like they go
And
through stuff
people.
like this,
Hmm.
and to be able to know that you can relate to somebody like that, in my opinion, it would make me feel a little better to be like, wow, like I'm struggling, but they are too, and they're finding ways and they're not letting it stop them. And for me,
Exactly.
that's like I that's a positive, even though we're crybabies. To me, that's a positive.
Yeah, and to emphasize of it we're not letting it stop us, because I don't
Mhm.
want whoever's listening, who's ever is thinking about going to med school, going to nursing school, going to like any graduate program, or just going to school in general, um to let it stop you. It's like, no, it's possible. It does take a lot on your mental state, but that's why it's important to address them, talk to a therapist, go to school therapy, talk to your friends, learn how to manage, I guess, these emotions, because it's
And take care
possible.
of yourself
Take care of
too. Like
yourself.
take care of
Put
yourself.
yourself first.
Yeah.
Put yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, you are not say you're replaceable, but at the end of the day, if you're not okay, you can't do anything. Like, you can't, yeah,
Yeah.
can't kill yourself by trying to chase after your dream or chase after your goals. You have to make sure you're okay.
And like we said, you can't take care of your patients if you can't take care of yourself. So
Yeah, and I think it's important that we have this conversation because sometimes, even with social media, people that are going to medical school or that are going through nursing school, they don't talk about these things. And when they do talk about it, is when they're done with it. So I feel like it's important that we're talking about it while we're going through it because then I don't know, some of our listeners or people that are listening to us or watching us through YouTube are able to see like, oh, so it's not just me. I'm not the one that, because some people think that because of they're having issues mentally, then they're weak, quote unquote. They're not. Um, so they're able to see like, oh, I'm not weak, or it's not just me. It's everybody goes through it, but everybody goes through it silently. Like not a lot of
yeah,
people. Sorry, not a lot of
talk
people
about
talk
it.
about it.
And to add on to what you're saying, that's why I am grateful for this podcast. And I'm for the days I don't feel like recording, I'm forcing myself to show up, because I love the fact that we're documenting our journey. Say
I
if our
know.
podcast does not get as popular as we want it to be, but the fact that we're documenting this journey just for our own sake, is like 10 years from now. And imagine us listening to this and seeing how far we have come. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like even Jasmine, even you, Kathy, if you, or all of us, if we look back, listen back to even day one episodes and talking about our journey and everything, it'll already be amazing. Even with Jasmine and her insecurities about applying to medical school, now in this season of life, she's in medical school. So I love the fact that
I'm in medical school now.
exactly, she's in medical school now. So the
No,
fact that
yeah.
we're recording this and documenting, like as in a sense, our capstone for later on in life to share with our children, to share with whoever who's had these doubts, and just for ourselves, it's like, oh yeah, remember when you were so insecure, you had low confidence about this, look at you now. So
Yeah. No, you're
that's
right.
one thing I
You're
love.
so right. You're so right. There was so many times where I didn't think I'd even get to this point. Even like
Hmm.
last week, I was telling Jonathan, I was like, I can't believe I'm in medical school. Like, I remember being on the podcast talking about me wanting to be a physician and me wanting to be go to medical school and feeling like it was so far away and it might never happen. And now I'm here. Um, it's it's exciting.
Exactly, and that's what I love about our little podcast, the three potent dose of three crybabies.
Yeah, so I totally understand where you're coming from. I've only been in school for maybe around 2 months, and I feel like I've been in school for forever. I I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm so happy to be here. Like, to get here was really hard, but it's been difficult. Like I do feel like I have so much on my plate and it's very overwhelming and um it's taken a toll on me mentally and, physically. I suffer with migraines, and for the longest time, I hadn't been affected by them, and now I feel like I have them constantly. And it's really hard because when I have a migraine, like they don't go away. So I've been like studying with my migraines there, and that's so difficult. Like it's really difficult to study and have a migraine. So it's been really hard. Uh, I'm doing my best though, so um,
And
yeah, it's been really hard.
honestly, that's all you can do is your best and keep on trying.
Yeah.
Um,
And
cause
that's
it
what I tell
is.
myself. Like I have to like have these like conversations with myself. Like when I'm feeling overwhelmed, like I'm not gonna lie, I'll cry because I need to let it out. Like I'll cry and let it out. And then after I cry and let it out, I'm like, okay, we cried. We are overwhelmed. Like I have to talk to myself. I literally talk to myself. Like we're overwhelmed and it is what it is. And we just gotta, keep going and do what we can. And that's all we can do. And in some ways it helps me because it gets me to realize that I'm overthinking things and I just have to do what I can do. So that's what I've been doing. But yeah, like you, I'm overwhelmed as well and just trying my best. And yeah.
That's crazy how you deal with overwhelming, because so I was thinking about it right now. And I'm like, how do
Hmm.
I deal? Dude, I don't cry. I get mad. Like I'm like, maybe if I cry, maybe I'll feel better. But literally this week I've been overwhelmed with like the new material that I have and all this information that they're throwing at me. And
Hmm.
literally like I just get mad. Like, oh, and of course I do talk to myself, but I get mad and I'm like, maybe that's a disconnect that I have right now. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't get mad. Maybe I should cry. But yeah, it's a good way to like calm yourself down when you talk to yourself, because then you're like, okay, yeah, we're overwhelmed, but we have to have a plan. We're gonna do this and then we're gonna do that, and then kind of like, okay, breathe, relax. See, it's not that bad.
And
Like, yeah.
yeah. And that's another thing I do. Like, I'll be like, okay, what do we need to do? And then, like you said, like I come up with a plan. And sometimes, like having a plan will make me feel like my life is together, like a checklist.
Yeah.
So that's something
Exactly.
I also do.
Yeah. And then Kathy, I'm not surprised that you said that
Me
your
neither.
emotions turn into anger. We already been knew that you a fighter.
Dude, I
You don't
swear,
cry.
no. And I wish I could, but I can't. I
Okay.
can't.
Hey,
Oh,
we all process things differently.
exactly. So you know how they tell children, and you probably should utilize this as well, Kathy. So when you feel yourself getting angry and upset, you have to smell the flowers and blow out the candles. So literally smell the flowers, deep breath in, blow out the candles, and do that. Yep, you can teach Thiago that too when
Ooh,
he's
that
getting
felt so
upset.
good.
Mm-hmm. Smell the flowers, blow out the candles. Smell the flowers, blow out the candles, and that kind of helps relaxes you and calms you down.
It actually, I
Okay,
felt so much better
I'm
right
gonna do
now.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a little bit better too because we are
Listen,
an emotional being.
I'm
Because I
like,
know we
even
had
though I have 3 million things to do, I feel
we have
better.
a you have a lot to do. That's the thing. We always have a lot to do, and that's another reason why we be over our mental state be going around in circles because it's like we always have something to do. Um,
Yeah, and that's actually something I might have already said this in the previous episode, but that's another thing too that um that I've realized and that like my friends have helped me realize is I'm in medical school. There's always going to be something to do. You're always going to be behind. Therefore, if you want to do something, just do it. Just do it.
just do it. Just do it. And I
Nike, no.
guess exactly. And I guess so we can, because we given a little educational gems here and there, and to also to give more of like how to kind of control the problem or kind of like fix it just a little bit. Is to oh my gosh, I've been having a real hard time lately with memory. Like I lose my train of thought so easily, and that's terrible. I think it has a lot. Jasmine, don't be laughing at me. And I think it has a lot to do with maybe like the stress and everything. But literally, I was
It is.
talking, and I wanted to. I had literally a story make a connection about how to manage your mental health, and all of that went out the door. So maybe my advice is not going to be the best because honestly I can't even remember what the heck I'm saying. uh
Well, something,
because
well, not to bring it to management, for me, I'll be honest with you, I noticed, so because I've been feeling like I have so much to do, I have so much to do. I don't have time to go out. I don't have time to socialize. I like go to school and come home, go to school and come home, go to school and come home, and I live alone, right? And so for me, I haven't been talking to people, and I think that's also been declining my mental health. Um, and so like I've been like staying a little longer on campus lately, or talking to people, or trying to make an effort to like hold conversation with classmates. And I swear to you not, um, I was at home a whole weekend and didn't go to school. And we had like Labor Day, so that I didn't even go to school for longer. And then I took a day off of school for mental health. And so I hadn't been in school for like 4 or 5 days, so therefore I didn't talk to like classmates. And like I was declining, like I was like very emotional. I felt like I was overwhelmed. Went to school and then like talked with a bunch of people, was trying to socialize, came home, and I was like, I'm ready to study. Really, it made the
mm-hmm.
biggest difference. Biggest
Yeah,
difference.
yes,
it does, because that's why, you know how some, like a few months ago I told you guys, I was like, I like recording. Like we have to record because this is what's keeping me sane. Because
Right.
I come to you guys and I was just and sometimes I do this. Like I know I did this with Linda a few days ago because like Jasmine said, I go to, like, my routine is always like me by myself and I don't talk to people.
Yeah.
And I saw Linda a couple days ago. And I felt like I was talking and I was just dumping everything. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But I'm like, I haven't talked to no one. And the people that I talk, like, it's like, okay, hi. But I'm not going to tell you, like, oh, yeah, I'm going through A through Z. But with Linda,
hmm
I'm like, oh, yeah, so I'm going with this and this. And she's like, yeah, that's a lot. And I'm like, yeah, like, but it makes you feel better somehow. So
Because
Yeah.
you're
yeah, socializing
releasing
is
it.
key.
You're
Mm-hmm.
because you're releasing
Socializing is
it. You're
key.
talking about it. Because like you said, Kathy, you don't really have adult conversations. And I cannot imagine not having adult conversations because literally your fiance, he works during the day and gets home at night, and it's like you just in like school related stuff are Thiago, and then at night, shoot, when Carlos gets home, he probably barely want to talk to you, and I can just see you being chatty Cathy and talking his ear trying to talk his ear off. But I can't imagine not having these like just a conversations with adults. So that's the reason why I don't mind you talking my ear off, because with
Yeah.
me, I'm very good with tuning people out. Just kidding.
I feel
Like
bad
you
because
be
even
talking to
sometimes
me.
it's bad because I remember once we said, "Oh, we're gonna go to a study session." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, let's go to a study session." And then I'm talking about, "Okay, this is the last time." And Linda was like, "Okay," and then she'll put her phone back on. And I'm like, "Okay,
Oh,
I'm
how
gonna stop.
funny.
I'm gonna stop."
I remember that day because I think it was the day, it was multiple instances like that. But I think you're talking about the day I needed to make the reel. And I needed to
Yeah.
focus and listen to the audio. And she was talking my ear off the whole time. I was like, dang, Kathy. Because I think she was having trouble with her Wi Fi or something. So
Yes.
she couldn't do her homework. And she's over here talking my ear off. I was like, girl, leave me alone and let me finish. I was like, let me finish this. And then you can have my undivided
Undivided
attention,
attention.
because right now
And that's
I can't do both.
and that's why I study at home because people be talking. I'm like, girl gotta study.
But I don't mind. And then again, to go back on making sure like your mental health is okay. Of course, we always stress therapy, and I know therapy for many is a privilege. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
like we need to do better with providing mental health for all, because in the U.S. we have our priorities are like messed up in a sense where mental health is not put first or placed first. It's like other things people want to worry about, but like your mental health literally affects everything, like how you
Everything.
move, your how you think, everything.
Think.
So always, yeah, how you think, you have to put your mental health first. And again, like I said, therapy is a privilege. So even just finding someone to talk to, if you're in school, not a lot of the times your school offer therapy sessions, like
They
some
do.
type of therapy
Yeah, they do.
sessions. hmm Get out the house. I know, I think Jasmine said, she likes staying at home, but if you're in home at home too often, that can become depressing. So switch it up. Go study outside, go study at a park, study somewhere that where you can kind of change up the scenery. And don't even have to study. Go for a walk. Take an hour out of your day. Do something for yourself. Because you have to do something for yourself, or you'll go crazy. You don't want to. You don't
Hmm.
want
Yeah.
that to happen. Yeah. Um, but again, this episode is like about just how school has affected our mental health and continue to affect our mental health. I honestly feel that my mood goes up and down like a roller coaster. And another
Like
thing
a
that's very frustrating to me, like people probably think, and I'm not trying to put like diagnosis out there because I'm not trying to, like people probably think like, girl, what's wrong with you? One day you happy, the next day you're sad, the next day you're angry. It's like pick a mood. But literally
life,
my,
life.
yeah, that's how my mood has been since I started the program. And I want to say maybe like my first year of the RN portion of the program, it wasn't so bad, but switching to the F&P part, it's just I'm just going downhill fast. But then again, with therapy and everything, then again with therapy, that's my way of addressing what I've been going through. And me forcing myself to go out and do things when I don't want to go out. I know in past episodes I said, you know, on Mondays, like during the week, I try to get my assignments and everything out of the way. So during the weekend I have time for myself because it's needed. Because I notice with me is like if I'm working on assignments and everything 7 days a week, where do I have time for myself? So if that's not losing sleep, but sacrificing some things during the week so I'm able to enjoy myself over the weekend, that's what I have to do. And because it's important.
Yeah, like reorganizing your priorities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, journaling. And going back to journaling, because we had a therapy episode, or what we have many therapy episodes,
I
and
actually want to say something about journaling. Remind me.
okay, write it down. Journaling, because I know I mentioned an app called Day One, and you can literally text, you can do audio, you can put pictures. And I remember just going through it. It was after the conference, the Black Nurses Association conference, and now I see my therapist once a month. But I felt like I needed her that week, and I could have scheduled an appointment. But I was like, I'll just wait until my scheduled session. So I used the app Day One, and I literally voice recorded everything I was feeling. Like my moods and why I was feeling this way. I included like a photo of the event that when I was at the event. And for me, that was great because I wasn't going to see my therapist anytime soon. And I needed some, like, to vent somehow. And using that Day
Outlet.
One app allowed me to do that. And this is not sponsored. So Day One app, y'all, you can give me some little coins here and there. But again, that was like a relief for me, because then I remember the next day I kind of laughed at myself. I was like, girl, why were you even crying? Because so I'm kind of ashamed to even listen to that audio, because you can just hear the emotions in my emotion in my voice. But again, me recording on the Day One app, that's another capstone for me, where I'm able to listen and go back to read those journal entries, listen to my voice memo entries 5 years from now, to see and listen to like the state of mind I was in then and where I am now. So that's another good thing. It's good to write things down, record things, document something so you can understand and see your growth. So I know I'm rambling right now, but then again, for me,
You're
that's
not.
making, like, documenting all of this will be great for my mental state
Fuck.
too in the future. Because again, you know how I say, like, I struggle with like the confidence, like I can't do certain things. But imagine me looking 10 years from now and laughing at myself like, girl, you thought that was an issue. Look at you now. You don't even, that's not even a problem that you have currently. And what about I didn't have, the podcast episodes to even kind of wake me up. It's like, girl, you've been through this before. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned the journaling, and I just remember because, like, I've been going through it with, being in medical school, and like
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like I need to vent, and I'll be texting like the group chat, like our group chat, a
Yeah.
Polando's group chat, and then I was texting, and I was like, I really need to start journaling. It's just there.
Honestly, Jasmine, you do need to start journaling, because
Yeah.
I feel so bad. And I'm not trying to be this is me protecting my own mental health as well. And I try to be there as much as I can for my friends. But Jasmine
Yeah.
be over here
No.
talking about, oh my God, I have so many assignments to do, 10 assignments, which is understandable. It's stressful.
Yeah.
But I'm looking
Or
at
I'm
that like,
drowning.
girl, I'm over here dealing with X, Y, and Z. I don't got time to reply to your 10 assignments that you're stressing over. So that's the
Yeah.
reason why journaling will be very important
No.
when your friends are not able to be that listening ear during that moment.
No, because I sent it and I was like, I just need to get a journal. And like I that last text I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a journal. But I totally forgot about the online one, which I don't know how I feel about it because I feel like everything I do is online. So I feel like I kind of want something like where I can write. But I'm
Hmm.
gonna see. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
the online one first and see how it goes. And then if not, I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the actual physical journal.
Yeah. It's an app in my phone that I use. And the reason why I feel like I don't write physically, like handwritten, because I write like a child. I don't know if
Chicken
I did not
scratch.
do my Yeah, it's chicken scratch. I scratch. I feel like I have doctor's handwriting, but I don't know if I didn't do my homework as a child. But the way my handwriting looks, it's ridiculous. So it would piss me off if I had to write to journal with writing. So I'd rather not.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then in the descriptions we will give, like just like hotlines, the suicide hotlines, just information, like resources of, what to look for if you're feeling like super down. Because again, the way people like mental health is, it's up and down, up and down, up and down. So we'll provide that in the description of the episode,
Yeah.
and maybe some therapy sites that you can like put in your zip codes, and then they'll provide therapy, like therapists in your area of something. Yeah, so we can do that.
Yeah. And I just want to remind everyone, like, it's okay to not be okay. We've all been there, and if we've not been there, we're all go through something, and it's okay.
Yes, and you will be okay.
Yes.
Yes. So again, thank you guys for listening to a potent dose of three crybabies. It's been great sharing our ups and downs of being in school, and we really hope that you guys are able to get something out of listening to us speak. If you have like a family friend or a loved one, someone that you think that will benefit from listening to our podcast, please share. Because that's the reason why we started this podcast, is to help others. Help others, make it into health, to college and everything, and also just be like a guide. I don't know, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye. See you next
Bye.
week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of PD3 with your hosts Linda, Jasmine, and Kathy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe at a potent dose of 3 so that you never miss an episode and your weekly dose.